Hi, it's Damian from the Peak Partnership, and it's that time of the year again when we take you through the released federal budget. No surprise, the centre point of this year's budget is cost of living and how the government plans to put more money into our pockets. But there's also spending or savings across areas like housing, health, wellbeing and gender support, especially around domestic and family violence, superannuation and retirement, infrastructure projects, defence and much more. We've reviewed the budget in detail, but we'll focus on the key announcements that will help or impact everyday Australians and businesses just like you. There are some re-announcements, if you like, and that there will be no surprise, it was headed up by the reduced Stage 3 tax cuts. They are still important enough to look at in detail as they're starting on the 1st of July this year. So grab your earbuds, your favourite brew and a comfortable seat while we give you the Peak Partnership take on Budget 2024. Well, here we are, the Peak Partnership's take on the budget for 24-25. Just before we get into the detail, a quick word of warning. This is general commentary only. It's not based on your personal circumstances. Before you take any action, please talk to one of the advisors here at the Peak Partnership to ensure the outcomes are appropriate for you. So on Tuesday night, Jim Chalmers gave us his third budget. The key points are summarised in those 7 items there: the budget surplus, Stage 3 tax cuts, cost of living assistance, students and education, supporting women, tradie training and business and infrastructure trends. So let's get into those and dig a little deeper. The budget surplus, pleasingly, is $9.3 billion. Much of that has come from the excess receipts they received in the iron ore area, where the government has previously had a very low tonnage expectation. The unfortunate part is that after that, we are then into 4 years of deficit, and the government is telling us that's necessary because of unavoidable spending on items like defence, interest, NDIS and also aged care and health. So the Stage 3 tax cuts, one that's important to all of us, is going to put some cash in our pockets from the 1st of July 2024, which isn't far away. You'll see there on the left hand side the current rates and on the right hand side the new rates after 1st of July. You'll note, particularly in the orange, that there's an increase in both the threshold amounts and then a decrease in the rates. So you'll see there that the 19% becomes 16% and the 32.5% becomes 30%, and we've got top tax rate only starting after 190,000, or is 180,000. This, of course, is version 2 of the Stage 3 tax cuts. On the original tax cuts, they were more targeted at the higher end. As you can see here on this slide, that those over $150,000 are actually getting less additional cash than they would have under the first version. But then those on 120 down to about $60,000 are getting more. So it's probably spread across more people than what was originally. Cost of living relief, it's a total package of $7.8 billion, and there's 3 major areas there, one of which is the energy relief. So we're all going to get a $300 rebate or credit on our energy bills, which will come in the form of $75 a quarter. And this is on top of the $1,000 already announced by the Queensland State Government, so another $250 a quarter on top of that, which will help with some of the pressures. Also in the cost of living relief, there's rent assistance for those who are getting it, an additional 10% increase in the rent assistance payment, which will take it basically from $250 to $275 a fortnight, and that'll help almost 1 million households. And then the third part of the package is that medicines are going to be cheaper. So they're freezing some of the prescriptions, particularly for our pensioners, at $7.70 through until 2030, and that they're maximising the PBS prescriptions at $31.60, which would be much appreciated. Also, they have made some changes to the HECS debt. This is for where kids are taking tertiary education, well, not only kids, but everyone. And they've changed the indexation amounts that they're going to use on the debt. In the past, that indexation amount has gone on CPI, so it was up at 7%. It's now going to come down to about 3%, and that'll be backdated to the 1st of July 2023. In addition to that, they've also announced a $319.50 a week mandatory placement fee. So if any of our students are undertaking a practical placement, they'll get an additional $319.50 a week, and that's mainly in the healthcare services and also our education. So if they do have a HECS debt and those changes in the indexation amount, you can see they're quite significant once you get up to that $60,000 or $100,000. So that'll be well received, and hopefully the repayments will start quickly. They've also announced that they want to have superannuation and paid parental leave. This only starts from the 1st of July 2025, and that also coincides with another increase in the superannuation guarantee at that point to 12%. So again, an initiative by the government to ensure no one misses out. Combating domestic and family violence, additional $925 million over 5 years has been established to assist those who have been victims in this area for $5,000 in immediate support, and then a further essential services for up to 12 weeks. And they've also announced funding for a pilot program to look at protecting children from harmful online content and those trolls that we know can have an effect on their mental health. We're going through a building boom and we need more people to help us do that, not only in the general housing area, but also we know the infrastructure program and the Olympic Games coming here to Brisbane are going to require us to have a lot of tradies on the deck. So there's 20,000 new fee-free training spots in the housing construction sector, $62 million for another 15,000 fee-free TAFE and VET placements, which will bring us somewhere in the region of 370,000 placements that are free, and another $26 million for pre-apprenticeship training places. So that's a little try before you buy type situation to see whether the young ones want to go into an apprenticeship or not, and $1.8 million to streamline or basically quick line skills assessment for immigrants coming into that housing construction area to get them on the ground quicker. So what has business got? Mainly in the infrastructure area, we've now got an extension on the instant asset write-off. So we've had this for a couple of years now. It is only at a $20,000 limit, and that'll go right through to the 30th of June 2025 for all those small businesses with an annual turnover of less than $10 million. In addition to that, they also announced a $325 energy bill relief for small businesses. Just unsure how that's going to be processed, particularly where there's a landlord involved, and there hasn't yet to be a definition announced of small business. So once we got that, we'll be able to give you some more detail. As I said, one of the big spends is the infrastructure spend, and that's been earmarked for a lot of that for a while now. In the southeast, we're looking at things like the direct Sunshine Coast rail line, Biawar to Caloundra, at $1.15 billion. An allocation of Buderim to Nambour rail project of $226, $720 earmarked for further constructions on the inland freight route, and then $177 million to deliver a bridge and intersections along the Warrego Highway. The Bruce Highway continues to be a problem, another $467 million there to help with the safety and upgrades, and then a small $134 million in comparison for the Mount Crosby Road interchange upgrade, and that's over the Bremer River Bridge, so helping that westbound traffic in the Ipswich Road. A new initiative by the federal government is called Future Made in Australia, trying to get on the back of the changes that are happening in the green energy space. So $22.7 billion over the next 10 years. $566 million, interesting enough, to deliver maps and data about our resources. I assume that'll include the underground stuff where they can. And then $835 million to establish the solar sunshot. So in effect, that's us creating our own solar panels rather than importing them from overseas. And a really large amount, $7 billion in critical minerals processing, renewables and clean technology, and hydrogen production. And most of that is very niche market and obviously goes towards those larger capital spends that are happening by people like Twiggy Forrest. And then, interesting enough, in Brisbane, PSI Quantum have been working on a quantum or a fault-tolerant quantum computer for a while. Both the federal government have put in $470 million and our state government $470 million to get them headquartered here in Brisbane and create that new commercial quantum computer. In the world we live in at the moment, a defence spend is almost a necessary thing, so the government intends to add an additional $50 billion in defence over the next 10 years, which will take our total defence spending as a percentage of our GDP up to 2.4% by 2034. There's already an investment of $330 billion in the initial cost of that AUKUS arrangement to purchase nuclear submarines, and then there's another $1 million for the funding of long-range missiles and targeting systems, which no doubt will be centred up in the north of Australia. Superannuation, just a reminder, 1st of July sees again another ratchet up on the SGC, or the superannuation guarantee, which is due to be paid on average weekly ordinary time earnings. And that increases up to 11.5%. Those of you with obviously computing software, that'll be automatically updated by your providers, but ahead of 1st of July 2024. And just a reminder, it's big on our calendar and it might be on yours as well. End of financial year, 30th of June is only 6 weeks away, so we're already doing some planning with some of our clients, both in cash flow and tax planning. And if you want to have a session with us, you can get online with peakpartnership.com.au/year-end-planning and book a time in to come and see us. Or alternatively, if you'd like to review a bit more detail about this budget, we have a free budget report which is available again on our website from peakpartnership.com.au/budget-2024. So that's the wrap this year, probably a little less controversial than most. There's probably some people unhappy they didn't get as much as they thought, but still a reasonable spend for the budget, and maybe Jim Chalmers' last one, depending on how he goes on election sometime between late this year and early next year. Well, there you have it, the federal budget for 2024 in a nutshell. We hope you got something out of the presentation, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us through our website at peakpartnership.com.au or message us at email@peakpartnership.com.au. And you can get a free copy of our budget report on our website on the address shown below. And lastly, just a quick reminder, end of financial year is not that far away, so if you'd like our help with your cash flow and tax planning, please set aside some time with us at a review meeting well before the 30th of June. Again, just go to our year-end planning webpage or give us a call to book a time. So thanks for watching.